Hey, everybody. Uh-oh. I think that okay, I was still on the phone with Sherill Cantrell, who I call Shakantre. And you guys will find out why I call her Shakantre in a little while. But I'm so happy to be back, guys. Tonya Hopkins, aka the Food Griot, sharing savory, sometimes sweet stories on the makings of America's cuisines and diverse culinary scenes. And just so excited I was totally inspired and motivated to get back in the mix. Talking to my sister from another Mr. and Mrs. Wait, that came out all wrong, but y'all know what I meant, right? Literally somebody who, like, I was like in feet pajamas when I met. We grew up the street from each other in each other's houses. Her and Sherrill, who was like my sister, but technically my aunt, Sherrill. Before I go too far into it, but the thing is, the main goal, we're gonna bring Sherrill on. Chef Sherrill. I know. When I was little, I called her Sherrill. Now I got to grow up and pronounce her name all right and everything. But anyway, she's gonna come on and we're gonna talk about her journey to becoming the next favorite chef, which another good friend of mine is hosting, and that's a whole nother narrative. But before we get to that, we're gonna take you guys down a stroll down memory lane, aka Holly Lane, Mount Hollywood, New Jersey, for those of y'all who know the truth. What? All right. Without further ado, and Sherrill, you know what? With our little tech glitch, I was supposed to like read parts of your formal bio and act like, a grown up for this, but I think little kid Ton is hosting this. So here we go, girl. Here we go.
Okay. It's okay. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Look at you with your fancy. This was okay, y'all. This is the fake backgrounds that we both had on yesterday when we did our test run. And I was like, Cheryl, no fake backgrounds today. But so I just blurred mine. Because I know you're gonna be dancing and stuff with the blurred backgrounds. We can't see all that. Okay, all right. Oh, you fixed it so we could okay.
Yeah.
We can still see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Still see it.
All right. Before we dive into multi-culty historic Mount Holly Lane memory lane, tell everybody who you are today, because I'm completely not doing my job in that regard. Because I'm like, you're Shakantre.
I'm Sherill Cantrell. Recently partially retired. Foodie all my life. Love to cook. I would think I don't use the word chef because I feel like I'm just a down home cook. That learned at the knees of your grandmother, my mother, my girlfriend's friends growing up. Always knew food was a way to bring people together and always got such joy out of feeding folks. So here I sit at this space. Professionally, I am a certified sex therapist in New Jersey. The only African American certified sex therapist in New Jersey. That's my little part-time gig, But my joy and my happiness is when I'm in the kitchen, feeding somebody.
Right? Feeding somebody, talking about food. I remember your kitchen vividly as a little kid. Of course, I remember our kitchen vividly. When I say our kitchen, I'm talking about 1009 Holly Lane in Mount Holly and the extended family I grew up with. Dave and Lou were at the helm of that. My grandparents, who were Cheryl's parents. So we got to give a nod to our mutual sister, Sherrill, right? Yes. You got a bunch of biological sisters. I have a biological sister, but Sherrill was both of our shared sister.
Right.
You guys were just clowns growing up. Just clowns.
From kindergarten, first grade, friends until the end. That's rare in this life. Yeah. So I feel blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting all goosebumpy. I'm like, I warned you guys are going to be tears of joy and laughter, but also the heartstring ones, because we both missed Sherrill so much. Sherill Hopkins, who transitioned to be with our ancestors back in 2018. But her vibrant, dynamic spirit lives on forever. Her brilliance, her beauty, her comedy, and she had some skills. Cheryl had some culinary skills.
She got hurt a little bit in the kitchen too. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Known for her stuffed mushrooms.
She got those from Davita, her big sister, my mama.
Yes.
Yeah, who I think was tuning in here from Cali, California, IA. And we're going to talk about all the different regional influences and international influences on our foods growing up in the place that we grew up, right? Mount Holly being so diverse
Yes,
and
yes,
all of
yes.
that. But
So diverse.
Sherill Hopkins, not to be confused with Sherill Cantrell, she was more classic. She was like, she would like, really pay attention to what Lou was doing, her mom in the kitchen, and like be like, no, 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 this is how the string beans are made. Okay. She wasn't even trying to like sub out, the what do you call it, the salt pork for the smoked turkey, like all nouveau black nouveau people started to do in the 80s.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
But
Right.
I digress.
Right.
I digress.
Right.
Your
And
house was
the old
up,
folks still fought it.
right? And they were like, what? Oh yeah, right. But you guys, I feel
Yeah.
like you guys in the
It tastes
Cantrell
different.
household,
Okay.
I feel like you guys were a little more nouveau than we were, like it with the smoked turkey. I feel like you were ahead of the curve on that. No,
My mom didn't do smoked turkey though. My mom did pork. We grew up pork
mm-hmm.
eaters. Pork was everything, right? So, and I mean, I probably bought that more, the little smoke thing, trying to be healthier. But even Miss Johnson, my mom's best friend who's still alive, she uses ham hock. She was like, it ain't the same. It ain't the same, So we
Truth
gotta let
be
them
told,
have their space there. We
yeah.
cannot
Truth be
fuss
told,
with
I don't
them.
want to out
They
her. I
taught
don't
us.
want to out her. Right. I don't want to out Miss California out, but a certain person known as my mother, the holidays, she is classic too. I'll just say that. Okay. Salt pork is definite.
I ain't mad.
Yum yum.
I ain't mad.
I ain't mad. Ain't nobody mad.
Ain't
Okay.
nobody mad.
Nobody.
Mm-mm.
So wait, you just talked about your mom, and I have pictures. Okay, so here's the other thing, you guys. Just full disclosure. Full disclosure. This is my Sherrill inspired me to do my first broadcast direct from the StreamYard that you are watching. Some of you are tuned in on StreamYard. I hope some people are tuned in on Facebook Live. I don't know. And I really don't have. I could check, but I'm afraid if I check, I'm gonna get some audio background. Maybe I'll check. Maybe I'll give you a long question to answer, Cheryl, and then I'll check on that. But we have pictures and stuff I wanted to share too. But like, how am I supposed to do that if we lost our tech time trying to? So somebody alerted me that this started saying it was going to be at 3 a.m. and I hope it didn't confuse anybody because it is not 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Obviously,
we're buffering right now.
what's that? We what? What we doing?
It's buffering right now. Time. We keep going in and out. That
Oh
little circle thing.
no!
Yeah. It could be
That's
me.
not.
It could be my setup. It may
I
not be
think you need
anybody
to
else.
get rid of that virtual. Oh, you know what? Oh, let me go. We got
How do I
comments.
do
I
that?
have comments. Oh, people
Yeah,
can give us feedback. Can you see the comments?
Yeah, I just say, hey guys. Marie Two
Lynette
folks
Harris
here.
says,
Charlie Johnson.
"Oh, are you corresponding with people in here too?" I see Lynette, Wanda
Donna
Thompson,
Johnson just says, looks good from Texas. I went to school with these people. I went to high school with these people, their names that are popping up. I just see Donna Johnson of the Johnson clan. Yeah. So my
so
village is showing up.
What's that?
My village is showing up.
Your village is showing up. Okay, and then the people who signed in through Facebook are communicating with us in the private chat. So there's a private chat and then there's a comments. If you go to comments, there's more. Can you see those?
Oh, wow.
Click on comments.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I know, right? That's where all the activity is happening. And so I guess people are able to see it on Facebook.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
For letting me know. I don't know if anybody's tuned in on YouTube, but I sent it.
They can see it both ways. I guess it's streaming both ways. We do not know what we're doing, but we're doing something. Okay.
We're doing something. Sherrill, I think you need to get rid of that background. Okay. Your beautiful orange walls. Your beautiful orange walls.
How do I do
I don't know. You click settings, and then you click virtual background.
I don't know how to do it. Wait a minute.
And then you click
settings.
Virtual background.
Virtual background. And I'm gonna just do blur. Okay. Let me see.
I don't know if that
worked.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna do anything. I don't know.
Is that better?
I guess.
Or should I just take it out completely?
We'll take, okay. Miriam,
take it out completely.
Miriam's
you
like,
just see my orange wall. Okay.
She's like, get the conversation going. We can see you. So we had wait
Okay.
yesterday. I
All
was
right.
like, can you hear me, or is there a delay, Cheryl? I'm gonna
I
just
can
call
hear
you
you.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
You can hear me. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we have Dolores Cantrell and Mr. Billy Wayman Cantrell. Your parents came up from, where was it? Memphis? No, not Memphis.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville. Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. I happen to have a cookbook. You can't see it because I got the blur, but I got a cookbook from Nashville, Tennessee here, just as a little inspiration. Because I don't think I knew that until we did our little
Really?
pre chat.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
always fascinated with people's like great migration stories. We're like, my family's like fifth generation Jersey. So with, some roots in Virginia and Maryland. I'm mentioning these things because these regional nuances, right? In cookery, black cookery, American cookery are a thing. And on top of it all, we grew up in one of the most diverse neighborhoods. Tell everybody what you were telling me about that yesterday. Bronte, I
Um,
don't know if Bronte Flood's on here. She had first told me about that, like how we were like a social experiment almost. But
we
go
really
ahead.
were. My my father was in the army in the service, and so we came via the army through Fort Dix. So we grew up in a very diverse neighborhood. Of course, we didn't know how diverse. We just knew this was our normal. So
Right.
my best friends were Japanese and African American, or Korean and African American, or German and African American, and I was in everybody's house because I was the mayor of Holly Hills. So I went and looked at somebody's table in a minute. My sisters would co-sign on that. So as a result of that, I got to see how different people cooked. I ate different food. Like I ate sushi as a kid as a snack at Beverly Polite's house. I didn't know it was sushi, right? I had
Right. Her
apple
mom was
dapple.
from Japan.
My
Hmm.
mother was from Japan, so she would put
Hmm.
together snacks from her region, right? My girlfriend's mom made the best cake. She was German. She made this apple dapple cake, this apple cake that she was made. So grew up thinking that everybody just ate from everybody else's pot, and this is what it was. Went to college, did some research, was writing a paper, and found that at the time that we grew up, we were the second most integrated place neighborhood in the country, and it was because of the influence of military men bringing their wives and settling down on the base that they had got stationed in. So, unbeknownst to us, we were pretty unique in how we showed up in the world and how we interacted with so many different cultures and so many different people. And I think that,
Exactly, all at the same time.
yeah,
And then there was also an interesting mix of classes and cultures, and there were Puerto Rican people, African American, some West Indian. You're right, a lot of mixed families.
right,
And I thought all this time, I don't know if he's here, Joe Hose. I thought this whole time Joe Hose was Japanese and
not Korean.
black, but
Yes,
His mother's Korean. So
it's
we
Korean.
have these
Mhm.
influences: Korean, Japanese, German. Those were the primary, um, I would say, global influences
Yes,
at the time.
I agree with you.
But
English,
also,
some
like,
England.
yeah, but remember Uncle Chico? Remember
Yes, I
Lumpy's
do.
uncle,
That was
right?
Garland's hip hop. Yes,
He was from Cuba. And
right.
then we had a great grandfather from Ecuador. Remember Spanish Grandpa Hipolito,
I sure do. I sure do.
Loretta's stepfather? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
there was a lot going on in terms of
It
cultural
really
diversity.
was. It really
And
was.
it was so normal for us to live in a neighborhood. And there were all white families and all black families and a lot of mixed families and Puerto Rican families and maybe other Latino, other Hispanic. But the point is, like, it just was normal, right?
And the point is, like, we lived pretty cooperatively, pretty peacefully. There wasn't a whole lot of drama. And this is the 60s, middle, beginning 60s, where we started to really migrate north of Holly Hills. I think my family was maybe the seventh or eighth African American family to move into that development, right? So living amongst people that I'm sure some were really thrilled, but then their kids went to school together and went to elementary school together and played together and went to high school together. And some of those stereotypes and some of those fears, I think, were erased through that.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. Or maybe we just, were blinded by, I don't know. I'm not gonna get cynical, y'all. It's Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. But yeah, it was a really interesting in reflection. Our normal was not everybody else's normal, which we
No,
find out
no,
later
yeah,
in terms of people not being exposed to um, diversity like that.
right, right.
Um, It was also like a food town, right? Like I feel like Mount Holly, the part we grew up in West Hampton Township, was part suburban, part rural. Cause like
Yes,
folks down the street
absolutely.
had like roosters were waking us
Right.
up.
They're still there, by the way. If you go into Holly Hills, don't get new. If you go on Rancocas Road to this day, you will hear a rooster or two run across the street. So we did. It was kind of a mishmash of it was growing. I mean, Holly Hills and Mount Holly area looks totally different than when we grew up, right? High rises, new apartment buildings, all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line was, I remember going out in the back across the street and picking strawberries, right? And
Right.
right. So I mean,
Strawberries in these, but the fields before they got developed, before they built
exactly,
Field and other things, there were
exactly.
these amazing, wild, fragrant strawberries. Like in my head, it's that scene from The Wizard of Oz with Dorothy and the Scarecrow. They're running through the poppies, and they're just like, and the fragrance, and then they all kind of fall. But like those strawberries, they were so fragrant, so sweet, so juicy, and then people just thought we were like. At first, we were like, "Oh, you don't know where they strawberries been," but then we'd be like, "Kiss it up to
We
God,
didn't
eat
even,
some
yeah, we didn't
strawberries."
even go wash them. We just ate
Okay,
them
we
right
didn't
out of the
watch. We just
ground.
eat them.
Yeah, yeah, we eat the bad fellas right out the ground.
Okay, but guess what? Guess what? Sure.
What?
Guess what I found out
What?
years later, like 5 years ago, as a grown person who has been on this journey of being a culinary historian and connecting the dots to what I learned, big picture with small. I found out we grew up in a town, Mount Holly, the West Hampton part, used to be a free black settlement established in
Mhm.
1826 called Timbuktu,
Which is still there.
which is still there. They got the markers now. We didn't, but they didn't teach us this growing up.
Yeah.
The markers in the graveyard for Revolutionary and Civil War black soldiers. The houses aren't there anymore, to my knowledge. But the point is, those strawberries were were their strawberries that they had used to make preserves and stuff, which were part of the economic um, freedom that part of their economy to,
Right,
to
right.
sustain that
I never
community.
knew that.
Yeah, isn't that? I mean, like I have goosebumps. Like
Yeah, that
that
sometimes you're
connection.
surrounded by your history, you don't even know it.
We were surrounded by it. The
Yeah.
Timbuktu, and then but that was 1826. Mount Holly. We knew Mount Holly was old, the downtown old
Right,
actual
exactly.
Mount
It's a
Holly with the
historical site.
colonial buildings. George Washington slept here,
Right.
and whatever. You were sharing something about that too. Stuff I didn't know. What were you
Yeah,
saying?
well, at one point, West Hampton, Mount Holly was pivotal in the war, and George Washington won the Battle of Trenton because he hid a lot of his soldiers in Mount Holly, which was a
Mount
term that
Hollywood.
has been around a long time, right? Yeah.
I
So
saw
that's
something. I saw a plaque I googled last night when I was trying to get my photos together, which y'all might see some photos before this thing is over. And I saw a sign, Historic Mount Holly, established 1647 or something crazy, like 100 years before George and them
right,
were,
right.
trying to
That's
win the
Atlanta.
war against the British. But
Hmm.
we digress. We digress. So Dave and Lou, I don't know, Mom Davita, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they were born in Camden also. I was born in Camden. My mother was born in Camden. We came up to Mount Holly a little bit after your family did. I was an itty bitty baby.
Yes, you were.
Um, and what was my point? Oh, but I know that on my grandpa's side, on Dave Hopkins' side, there's what the strongest branch to the family tree was Maryland, and on Lou's
Mhm.
side it was Virginia.
Wow.
And that cooking, and you talked about this when you would come to our house, and you paid attention to how the differences in how Loretta made things and your mom. Talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about that.
My mom, even though we all migrated from the South, we took a little bit of each different culture. I think sometimes. So my mother was very Southern in her presentation of food. She was a wonderful cook. I think my mother was a cook for us. My dad said she was not always a good cook. She learned to cook. But my dad was a cook by profession. That's what he
He
did.
was a cook by profession, but he
Yeah.
didn't. She didn't learn to cook from him, did she?
No, she kind of learned on her own and from friends and stuff. And over the years, when you got 5 kids, you got to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
So, but my mom cooked, I'm sure, like her people. So we had, for instance, I always think about the holidays, us up in each other's houses at the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and your mom's stuffing and my mom's dressing were totally different, right? Our dressing goes in the oven, right? It's cornbread based, right? Real basic with cornbread and chicken stock and onions and green
Yummy.
peppers, right? And
Yum.
you mix it all up with butter and you bake it. And then I would
And
go
you
to
bake
your
it.
house and your mom's was on the stove and she used white bread. I was like, what is that? And she was like, it's stuffing. I said, that don't look like my mama's stuffing, you know.
And for the correction for everybody, when she says your mom, she's talking about my grandmom Loretta,
Right,
who I called mom. It's
right,
complicated. The Black family, the extended family, it's all
right.
good though.
It's all
Continue.
good. And I liked them both. They were different, but they were very different, you know. Some
Yeah.
things were
And
like
you said Lou put sausage in
she would put
sometimes.
sausage in sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up with this? We don't put no sausage in our stuff, our dressing. You know,
And it,
sometimes as leftovers though, my
yeah.
mom to make it stretch would cut up the rest of the turkey carcass and put it inside of the stuffing and would zizz it up, and then that would be like another meal.
Right.
Say we won't make it work.
Right. Oh,
Make a way out of no way.
absolutely.
That's right.
Which is the way of the ancestors before us making it work. Okay. You're gonna eat well, it's gonna taste good, you're gonna get full. But yeah, and I remember you saying that you felt like, because I remember the food at your house was really good, but it was different. But then you said something like, I feel like Lou's food was a little more fancy. Lou
It
as
was.
in
It was a little more. To me, my mom was really like a down home cook. It was no frills, no fancy. The food was good. Everybody liked eating at our house, right? But I always felt like you guys was a little more fancy than us. Like when I
and
would go
I
down.
don't know. I mean, I think it was just different. But when you said that, I thought, you know what? I think that might have something to do with that Virginia pathway.
Right.
Because again, in hindsight, later I learned that um, America's first classically trained chef de cuisine was an enslaved person owned by Thomas Jefferson, who goes with Jefferson to Paris in 1789 or something, comes back and kind of it's the beginning of the new direction of the development of fine dining in America, really, because Jefferson was a dinner party throwing peacock. It was reason why he took him there. And they
Right.
come back, and through his many tables in Virginia and Philly and New York, there's even stories of them being in Jersey, that when James cooked, that elevated style became part of the Virginia style, because that's where American fine dining really starts. But the
Mhm.
ripple effect from that plantation cookery over the centuries, which is where Lou's people are from, and on the Maryland side, Dave's people. Okay, I got a correction here. I got a note from
Wow.
Davita V. Groovy D, the original Groovy D, Davita Hopkins Barham. Grandmom Loretta was born in Camden. However, Pop David was born in Chester. Thank you for that
Oh
correction.
wow. Okay, I
Okay, I'm
never
gonna get
knew
my
that either. Yep.
Hopkins family card revoked, but not
Right.
now because we're updated. Okay, you knew more. You know more stuff than I did. Cheryl, you tell me all the stories you would call my grandmother when you were in college,
I
asking her.
sure did try to make her food, and she tried to tell me it. And then, of course, when I made it, I was making yak. Anybody from Jersey know about yak? Going to Camden for the yak, right? But Miss Loretta's yak was different than the Camden yak.
Tell
She
folks what yak. Tell folks who's not
Okay,
from
what yak is
Camden.
a poor man's dish, and really it's just meat and noodles and a kind of onion gravy, soy sauce gravy that was notoriously wonderful. And we grew up eating it, going to Camden to the little Chinese restaurants in Camden. But your mom was like, I'm gonna make some yak for you. And after I had her yak, I was like, oh, I don't want anybody else's yak but that yak, right? So I would dream about it. And whenever I get home, and she knew I was coming, she'd make it for me. So finally, when I was, I guess, in college, said, you know, Miss Hopkins, show me how to make it. She said, it's not hard, Sherrill. I said, okay. So she wrote little things down. I used to watch her forever. And then I went back and tried to make it. And it was a hot mess. It was like, something ain't right. This don't taste like yours. And she said, well, what did you do? So she's on the phone trying to talk me through it. And I was like, oh, she said, baby, you put too much flour in there. I said, yeah, it's real thick. It's like a big hunk. She said, yeah. So we
Yeah.
gonna throw that out. We're gonna start all over again. And I got it. I now and she fried her pork chops, right? When we would get it at the store and we shredded or cut up pork, but she would season and fry a big old pork chop, set them pork chops aside, then take her onions with them drippings and
Right.
brown them up,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Cam
add
gravy.
that little bit of flour,
Yep.
and then add that water. And her one of her cheats said, she said, sure, you can add water, but if you want more flavor, you can add chicken bouillon
Mm.
with your water or beef bouillon. And
Right.
she said, then add your soy sauce, right? And let that cook down. Now take your pork chops, put them back in that gravy, put it down low, put that lid. Now go make your noodles. And child, when I got it, I got it. I was like, I'm gonna be a pork yak eating chick for the rest of my life, and I have it.
I mean, I literally have just been transported back to Loretta's table just now. And the fact that I never took the time to find out how she made the yak, but I'm glad that you did. See, this is how the Black family works, y'all. This is how the extended family situation,
Yes,
and
yes,
not just the Black family, because I got all kind of hues and people in my family, extended family, but this is how it works, right? It's
yeah.
not always just like what's at your table. It's
No,
like, how did you grow up? Did you grow up in a community? Did you grow up in an extended family where people taught you? Because that really, and that's how those traditions I'm talking about from
absolutely.
Virginia, because we find out later that Edna Lewis, another famous cook a century after James, her cooking was affected by his because she grew up learning how to cook from aunties and people in the community who may or may not have been related, but they were the cooks of the nation, the
Right,
professional cooks, right?
right.
And so they cooked for before restaurants existed, public houses, hotels, banks. Like our great grandmother Gertrude, who I think Dave,
Gertie,
yeah,
Gertie.
Gertie, yeah, right. Her, yeah, I have pictures of her in here. I am gonna try to share pictures at some point, but yeah, and but yeah, so these different influences. So I love that. So I love that I can learn how to make Loretta's yak
You
when I
can.
come to visit you
Yes, you can.
in New Jersey. In New Jersey.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
You can do that.
So now, okay, start telling us, and then we'll come back to there's other questions I want to, but start telling me about yeah, so these different influences, right? Oh, but wait. We were talking about how diverse and a lot of the mixed families. Tell the story you were telling me about when you first came to our house. When you and Sherill were little.
We
were
were
y'all
little. I must have been about second or third, maybe second grade, because I think
yeah,
you guys
yeah.
came when we were first grade. And mommy let me come down, or maybe you even walk me, and I was able to come and play because it's literally straight up and down the street, different world, right? In second
Like
grade.
literally, Holly Lane,
And yeah,
literally.
and Miss Hopkins, Loretta Hopkins opened the door, and I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for Cheryl." And she said, "Yeah, baby, come on in, come on in." And I said, "All right." And then I got upstairs, and I said, "Cheryl, I didn't know your mom was white." She said, "My mom ain't white." I said, "The lady that opened the door." She said, "She's just light skinned in it. She's not white. She's black, Sherrill." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Virginia. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
right.
So
And then
yeah.
when you tasted her food, you were like, "Oh, she
Oh,
ain't
I know
cooking."
she's black. Yeah, yes. And then when she got to really talking, of course, because of the dialect, of course she sounds like a woman of color. But when you're
But
little,
I
you
remember
just
you thinking we were one of the mixed families. Is like, nope,
nope.
and she's one of those black folks in America where you got to go back a couple of generations before you actually find, the all white person. But
Right.
I digress. I have not done the genealogy. My mom's probably going to correct me on that one too. But yeah, I know it's you got to go way back. It's not
Yeah.
immediate. It's not
No,
like
it's
either her
no,
parents or their
no, no,
parents. Yeah.
no. Mm,
Yeah, so that was funny to me that you
yeah,
thought that she might have been having some global influence, which she,
she did like
indirectly
yeah.
indirectly over the generations. French cooking and influenced how the black professional cooks cooked in America. What recipe did you have to when you did this application for the next chef thing, or the next, is that what it's called, next favorite
Yes,
chef?
yes, favorite chef.
What did you have to, like, what's the process like? Did you have to
Well, the process was I kind of did it as a goof. I mean, I do cook. And anybody that is in here that knows me knows they probably have eaten some of my food at some point in our relationship. So I was one night and I saw Carla Hall and I was like, oh, that'd be neat. So I wrote and did the kind of the application why you want to be on it. And I said, I would love to recreate Tonya Hopkins' grandmom's yak recipe, right? And about it. I really did. I forgot about it. And I was on vacation in Jamaica about 2 weeks ago and wasn't really using my phone because that's the international charges and we wasn't trying to do that. But I
yeah,
opened it
not
up
today.
for
Yeah.
something and I had gotten an email from the show saying you've been chosen as a contestant for the next favorite chef. And I was like, is this like a goof? Like I'm not a chef. I'm just a cook, you know. I was sitting at the table with family and friends, and I was telling them, and I was like, it's just fun to be even, noticed. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to make, or actually, what I want to make it all at the same time. Everybody said, "Your macaroni and cheese." So I did change it from my yak if they were to ask for my recipe and do my macaroni and cheese because all my family and friends brag about it and love it and say it's like the best mac and cheese they've ever tasted. So
You are being very modest because, first of all, I don't know, and I'm going to find out, hopefully we are going to find out now, the origins of this mac and cheese, because you know Loretta made an amazing mac and cheese, but this
She
mac
did.
and cheese that you described, and your mom too, your family, y'all
Yeah,
have
my mom made us
beautiful
pretty good. Yeah, mac and cheese. Yeah.
but the mac and cheese you described that you are making for this application or this contest, I'm like, I ain't never heard it sound. I was like, what? And so because that sounds like a total creative outlet, a total creative
Well,
process. And it
well, what
sounds
happened? What had happened was
what happened? What happened,
I
Shakira?
used to just make my macaroni and cheese like my family, and then as I got start to really play in the kitchen and try to twist and turn around recipes, I had read something about Patti LaBelle's mac and cheese, right? Right.
Oh,
So I looked at her stuff, and then I was at work one time, and my boss made a mac and cheese. I was like, "This is so delicious and creamy." And how did you? And I was just picking from all of them. So what I did was, when I make it, it is decadent. You know, I use
yeah.
between depending on my mood about 6 cheeses, different kinds of
I,
cheese,
okay,
smoked
I have
cheese.
heard of a 4 cheese mac and cheese. I ain't
Yeah,
never ever heard of no
yeah, I use
16.
six.
I am not mad, but I'm just saying, never heard of a 6 cheese mac and
Six
cheese.
cheese and different kinds. I
Continue.
do Gouda and cheddar cheeses, Swiss cheeses, smoked provolone and smoked cheddar, and old fashioned Velveeta and a little bit American. But the key is, I use a creamy soup in it to keep the creaminess of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
bake my macaroni and cheese. Some people don't. I bake my macaroni and cheese, and I also take, because I'm trying to be a little healthier, I cut up and dice up turkey bacon and I put it in it, right? And then I kind of do layers of that, and then of course you got to end with your extra sharp cheddar
Did
cheese.
you say there was mushrooms, or am I making that up?
Nope, there's cream and mushroom soup in them.
Oh, right. The mushrooms come into the soup. Yeah.
Right.
This sounds like a full-on meal casserole.
It can be,
Like a hunk of it and maybe a little side salad, and you're
yeah,
set.
yeah,
You know.
or a little piece of protein, to make you feel better.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
there's the cheese and the bacon is
Yeah.
some protein is up in there, but you can
Okay.
add extra protein if you want. I
That's
guess
right.
on the
That's
side.
right. It's a beautiful thing. You can make it anything you want it to
Beautiful
be.
thing. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the interesting thing. Like, I love how you still are keeping tradition with your recipes, and these are some classic comfort foods, right?
Yeah.
The yak has got the noodles and the
Yeah.
gravy and the sauce. The macaroni's got all those cheeses and the noodles, so these are comforting, but they're very nutritious,
Yes, they
right?
can be. Yes.
And
I try to cut a
but
calorie
you
when
have,
I can.
what's that?
I said I try to cut a calorie when I can.
Well, you clearly have, because all of us were a little, healthy.
We're
As,
thickness. There's a thickness theme.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
growing up, we before Lizzo and all that, we were like, whatever, here we are, we're still fabulous and beautiful, but like, technically the world would,
Not
be
very
like,
nice to that. Yes.
not nice to us,
No.
calling us chubby girls, whatever. But you have like completely like mastered that over the years. You have like slimmed, and still, I love that you able to still love food and still
I
appreciate
love
it
food.
and still be able to, it's just
Yeah.
about, food is not our enemy, right?
Food brings us together. Think about some of the most wonderful memories you have. Usually, is around someone's table, right? It's something of a give and take, of a sharing space, of community. Like, I
Mm,
think cooking and feeding people is very spiritual. I think
mm,
there's a spiritual component to
mm-hmm,
feeling safe for somebody to sit at your table and to eat your food, right? You don't
mm-hmm.
have everybody sit at your table, right? It has to
Yeah,
be people that you feel are deserving of your company and your time and your energy and your love. So I think cooking for folks is very powerful. And it's
yeah.
my way. I think we all come down here to do different things. I
Mm,
think a part of my journey was to feed people. And I've been feeding people my whole life.
mm.
Yeah.
You sure have, and bonding with people through food.
Absolutely.
Standing next to Lou at the. I mean, I just love it, because you probably were asking more questions. I think we thought she was gonna live forever, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're
I
gonna
get
always
it.
have these recipes in my family.
Right.
I mean, I'm grateful. My mother did learn her macaroni and cheese recipe to the T. And but there's some other things that, like, my mom tried to get recipes from Loretta, and beautiful penmanship, but like no measurements,
No.
like no, like very vague.
No. She talked me over the phone. There was no
Yeah,
measurements, but she was
no,
talking over the phone. That's why I couldn't get it
yeah,
together.
right. But you gotta
and I do the same thing though, Tonya. I cook by eyeing stuff and tasting stuff. So now I'm gonna have to slow it down for this process and actually write down.
Write down like what am I doing and how much might that and create a recipe, because we don't come from recipe cooks. We come from cooks who cooked and made delicious food, but they weren't like tracking all the recipes. And I'm not either. And I struggle with that. So, when I did the Kwanzaa menu thing for Food Network, and they were like, yeah, we're going to need detailed recipes for every single one of them. I was like, yeah, right. On it.
I'll get right on that. Yeah. I'm working on that right now. Yeah.
And matter of fact, the first time when because I was on the Chew with Carla, who was doing this, I didn't even know she was doing this. I'll try to put a plug in. It's probably illegal. It's probably like not, fair for me to be like, Carla, pick my girl Sherrill.
Don't forget to vote, you guys. Voting starts tomorrow. Vote for
voting
me.
Starts tomorrow. Matter of fact, I created a banner. Saying vote for Chef Sherrill. Oh, look. It's a little wordy.
Oh, that's so cute.
But it's going to keep repeating.
Okay.
And maybe what we should also do is copy and paste the link, because you can't copy and paste the link from here, can you? I don't know.
That I don't know.
I don't know if you can click it on there or not. So we'll put it. What we'll do? We'll make sure we put the link in the chat of wherever people are watching this from the Facebook Live invite. So we'll put the link in there, because starting tomorrow at 12 noon, you can vote for Chef Sherrill to be the next favorite chef. But yeah, so I'm making up stories, and I'm going to tell Carla to pick you. But you guys are both from Nashville, which you did not.
Which her family, I didn't know that till you told me yesterday.
Yeah,
my family's from Nashville. I still have family in Nashville. That's where the beginning, both the Cantrell side and the Sawyer side started. My mother and father. Yeah,
both sides. Yep, because they met there, but you were born in Anchorage or something.
I'm not Army brat.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
we were born all over. My sisters were born in Nashville. My other sister was born in North Carolina, and me and my baby sister were born in Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah. But yes, she saved me the first time I got asked for my recipes on the Chew, and they were like, "Yeah, what are you gonna make?" And I was like, "I'm gonna make I'm gonna make and I'm gonna make Hopper John and Carl." And I was like, I was literally sweating, and she was like, just tell me what I got you. She's like, I got you, because she's a professional chef. They know how to like whip up the recipes in 5 minutes. It would take me 5 hours. I'd have to go and buy the stuff and record myself. So I was like, hallelujah. But yeah, that's what you got to do now. You got to pay attention.
Yes.
And mark down all the recipes and stuff. I love the story you were talking about. What else? Some of the other things, the other highlights from Dave and Lou's tables. Oh, the barbecues, the backyard barbecues.
Dietz and Watson. That's how I discovered Dietz and Watson, because that's all your parents served at their barbecue. Dietz and Watson hot dog, right? He would go all the way to Camden. He would go all the way to Camden to get them and bring them back, because you couldn't buy them around us. First time I ever had one.
My mother could probably. I see comments over here. She could co-sign on that. I have no idea.
Hot dogs to this day. Yeah.
I just remember the ribs and the sauce, her homemade sauce.
Her corn on the cob.
Oh yeah, talk about the corn on the cob.
Because corn on the cob was the best corn on the cob I ever had. I used to go home to my mom and say, "Miss Hopkins, corn tastes different than ours. So it's always so sweet." And then finally I guess I must have been a teenager then, and she, everybody's running out of the house going back, and I came up to see if I could help, and she's in the kitchen. I said, "Miss Hopkins, why does your corn always taste so good?" She said, "Oh, let me show you." And she would soak it in butter, sugar, and milk. I said, "Of course it's delicious. It's delicious just in a little cob."
And simmered it up in that same concoction, I believe.
And to this day, that's how I make my corn on the cob. Yes, that's how I make my corn on the cob.
I didn't know the sugar part. I do what she does with the milk and the butter, and then
sugar
makes the natural sweetness from the corn. But I didn't know about that part. Yeah. And then with Dave Hopkins, my grandfather would go down to not Maryland, Delaware, I guess, and get those crabs. He'd come back with the fresh crabs.
That's the first time I ever had crabs was sitting around your grandparents' table. They taught me how to open them up. They taught me how to eat them. They taught me what it was. I was like, because my family never did that, right? We never had crabs growing up. I love crabs to this day. That's
right. Nashville. I'm gonna show my ignorance, my geographic ignorance. Is it landlocked? Is there water involved? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So,
And,
no, crabs was not a part of our reality.
yeah.
My dad was like, probably that's too much work for that little bit of meat, knowing Billy Cantrell. But I would they would call me because they knew I loved them. Your dad would go get them crabs, and they were like, Sherrill, we got crabs. I'd be like, I'm on my way.
He like, I'll be right there.
I'm on my way. I would tell
And
my
they
mom,
were like still alive. I don't know how he got them back from his journey, and they were still alive, crawling out the bag. And he would.
Oh, I remember
like
that.
they
I
were
remember being
us down the
girl and
hall.
screaming screaming when the cat on the floor was running, and we were running and screaming. Yeah, and he was just laughing at us.
laughing at us. And then Lou would simmer them up. I remember beer being involved, and bay leaves and stuff.
Yep, beer, really simple: salt and pepper, a little seasoned salt, Old Bay, beer.
Old Bay, beer.
That was it.
All that goodness up in here. I'm gonna start showing some pictures, but like, Cantrell, just the story. Oh, Billy, you mentioned Billy Cantrell. Tell the Billy Cantrell baking story. How
my father was an incredible cook in the service, but he did not know how to make little bits of food. So one year he decided he was going to make fresh lemon meringue pies, and he did, but he made about 16 of them because he didn't know how to break it down. So everybody that left, we tried to give him a pie. We're like, oh, and your parting gift is a lemon meringue pie. And here's a lemon meringue pie for you. And did you take a lemon meringue pie on your way out?
Oh, don't forget the lemon meringue pie.
Don't forget the lemon meringue pie. That was his last foray into pie making, I believe, for the holiday.
Did you see the mention from Donna Johnson in the private chat? She says, does that mean I have to come to taste your mac and cheese? I am glad you use many of the same ingredients I do. Oh, so Donna, is this going to be a mac off?
So glad you're competing. Thank you.
She's a 5 cheese person. So that is what's happening. So yeah. So did you send me any of your food picture? I see pizzas.
I make homemade pizza.
Oh, and I might be seeing one of your homemade macs and cheeses.
You might. I think there is one on there. Homemade chicken pot pie. It might be on there. And I make my own empanadas now, and my rice and peas, and that's when people say, well, what's your favorite kind of food to make? I kind of make a little bit of everything that I like. So I love Italian, I love soul food, I love Spanish food, Mexican food, I love food. So if I go somewhere and sit down, my famous line is, "Ooh, I think I can make this at home." Right? So a lot of my recipes have come out of eating somewhere and said, I think I can make this.
I think I can make this.
Yeah.
But you love that? Don't you love tasting something and then like deconstructing it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm totally blessed to be in a community, a very food focused community here in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Matter of fact, just had a beautiful brunch with some people who started out as friends and turned into family, and we were all sitting there tasting stuff. Oh, here, try this, try that, and deconstructing and hopefully somebody at that table will remake one of the dishes that we had, or maybe we'll just go back to the place.
Yes, absolutely.
Brad, Brooks, Jebs, I ain't calling their names. Okay, so I am trying to share the screen. Wish me luck, you guys, and thank you everyone for this inaugural return. Looking forward to doing weekly chats and conversations about food, family, culture. Oh, share screen. How about that? How about I try?
That probably will help. Yeah, I bet it works.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So now, but they change stuff. Like the minute you think you got it all worked out, they figure out somehow, some way to change it. And so now I got the photo app open, thinking that I can. Oh, here we go. Woohoo! Now tell me, guys, what happens to us? I don't know if you can still see us or not. Can you still see us?
Yeah, we're up in the corner.
We're in the corner. Okay, good. All right. Yeah. So here we are.
That is my mother and my 2 older sisters, who are all ancestors on the other side now. But I just love that picture.
I love this picture. Picture. That's Pat and Jean, right?
Yep. Looking scared.
Why do they look so scared?
I don't know, but they do look scared.
They do.
They look like, where were you on the night of the 18th? Like, where were you on the night of the 18th?
Where were you?
Scared.
I was in my pea pajamas and
Yeah,
I was eating
exactly.
little wafers and
I don't know nothing. I don't know
I
nothing.
don't know nothing. I see Terry's face here in Pat, who is
Mm-hmm.
also, and we did not. Okay, I've been calling you Cantre. Why do I call you Cantre?
So Cantre came from Terry being little, my nephew, and trying to say Sherill Hopkins, and he could not enunciate, so he called her Shahaki. Instead of Sherill
Shahaki, right?
Hopkins. Sherill took it and ran. Then I became Sure Cantre, and you became Tanhaki.
Tom Hockey here.
Right? That's right. And called each other that for our entire lives.
Our entire lives. So,
Yes.
oh, this Cantre, all grown up, looking
All
pretty,
grown up
in her
at,
little outfits.
at the job.
Look, whether you like at the job. I love that outfit. That
Thank
is
you.
adorable. But yeah, I'm like, yeah. Rushing to get to the food. Is this one of your homemade pizzas?
That's one of my homemade pizzas.
I would rotate it, y'all, but we got more.
That's just a lot of too much.
That was it. Sausage, pepperoni. That looks like I ordered. That looks like somebody showed up with a hot box, and handed me the box, and I took this out the box. That's what this looks like.
No, that's my stuff. And there's roasted red peppers, black olives, I think, on there.
Black olives. I see the roast. Oh, so on the right, there's roasted red peppers, black
That's
olives.
like the vegetarian kind of side, and that's the meat side.
I thought I saw meat on both sides, but
no, those reds are really peppers. Roasted red peppers. The squares, the pepperoni, and the little browns are sausage.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so then we were talking about this, the next generation, Cantrell's, the next generation, the Cantrell clan, right?
That's right. That's my niece, who, when she feels like it, is an amazing cook. Fortunately, she doesn't feel like it very often lately, but she's a really good cook.
You're saying that the skills, the gifts have translated.
My great nieces are amazing cooks. My great nieces, we went to visit them in Arizona this past year, and they cooked for us, and I mean, they were on point. That is something I made up myself. That's like a penne and vodka casserole.
Yeah, the comfort food
with chicken.
And what I'm finding now is like when I actually eat what I am craving, like if I want something that is super califragilistically comfort, I don't even need a whole lot of it.
No, you just need a hit. Yeah.
Right? Just a hit. Yeah. But if you don't give yourself, if you don't satisfy that, what's going to happen is you're going to eat more of other stuff and still slip up. So just give in, y'all. Give in to the craving, but don't overdo it. Then go get Chef Carla again. Looking all cute. Looks like you're about to do jazz hands in this picture, Sherrill. Well, my mom's gonna kill me. That's Davita in the kitchen, but that was not the picture I want y'all to see. This is us. This is Sherrill and me. I don't know who this baby is. I think it's our cousin Monica. Renee, my mother, doing her Angela Davis impersonation with the afro. Yes, okay. And continuing on, there's supposed to only be kitchen pictures. Dave and Lou, look at Dave and Lou.
Dave and Lou.
I don't know where that is. That might be them visiting from California, visiting us in California. Y'all, what's going on here? There's my mom, my dad in Kenya. When she was little. What pictures was I trying to show you guys? Oh yeah, this is my grandmother when she was young, and I think that's her with Gertrude, her mother-in-law, who she learned from, and who was her husband's mother. Yeah, and they got along really well. I think this is Gertrude's table at one of the holidays. This goes way back.
What year do you think that is, Ton?
I think it's the 40s. I mean, that's what I think, but I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
Because that's when she lived with her. It was during World War II, and and that's Lou. I know this is Camden. I know that the address is. They had two 1009 houses. I think they have more than one house in Camden. This might be the 1009 house, and then they moved to 1009 in Mount Holly. I'm trying to find, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of, this is strolling down memory lane. This is me and Lou in the kitchen somewhere in Jersey. Look how chocolate I was. See, this is why it's like folks be trying to put me in the red bone category, and I'm like, no, that is not. All right, y'all. So let me stop sharing screen because did I stop sharing screen? Are we back?
Yes, you did. We're back.
Okay. So let's see here. We talked about multiculti, Mount Holly, cross-cultural connections. being rooted in, in Black food culture, but having these other influences. And then, I didn't, I had a lot of friends who had, I was in a lot of the homes where the moms were Japanese too, and I never had sushi, but you had sushi growing up in Mount Holly before it
In
was
Mount
even a
Holly,
thing.
in Holly Hills. Yeah, when I was over Beverly Pleat's house, playing in the backyard. Mama calls it for snacks, and she would give us. We called them cookie cots, which were rice crackers dipped in soy sauce with seasonings on them. Those were like our chips, and then she would make sushi for us. I know it was sushi. I would eat anything pretty much if you put in front of me as a child.
You're like, I'll try that.
I'll try that. It looks good. Tastes very good to me.
You're
So
like,
I
I'll
remember
have that.
eating. She taught me. Now Beverly's mother taught me how to make Japanese pancakes.
What is a Japanese pancake?
Japanese pancakes are cabbage, carrots,
Oh, savory pancakes.
right, put into a batter and fried, and a special sweet soy sauce is poured over them, and you eat them with rice.
Okay, you know what? I want to go back in time and hang out with you more. I mean, I was lucky that you and Cheryl let me tag along. They called me Little Cheryl. Um, and I think they were referring to both of y'all. Y'all did, but I feel like I didn't tag along with you quite
Well,
enough.
we ducked. I'm going to be honest now. I might as well confess. It's disclosure. We did duck you
I,
many times.
I knew it. I knew it.
Would hear Loretta saying, "Well,
I
you
knew it.
guys gonna go. You got to take time," and we would be easing out of the door as she was saying that and running. So by the time she realized we were gone,
And I
you were sitting at
idolized.
the door waiting for us to come back for you.
And I idolized you guys. I idolized y'all.
You did.
And I thought you like really like
We loved you.
wanted
We
me
just
to
didn't love
hang.
you be with you all the time.
I was like,
and
they think I'm cool. They think
yeah,
I'm
but
cool.
we would duck you, honey. I'm telling you now.
We're
Or we
coming
would say,
down.
"We'll come back. We'll come back later and get you." Right? We would say, "We come back later and get you."
Gee, look at the time. Our time is running out. Our time is coming low. Okay. No, but it really is. I did see a few more pictures I wanted to talk about in terms of influences because for me, remember this is Mr. and Mrs. Davis,
Mrs. Davis.
Jesse and Laura Davis, who lived
Yes.
around the corner. Carol, my best friend Carol's parents, who were from Florida and Alabama. And so they even had deeper South roots than your family. And I learned how to, or my style of making cornbread was influenced by them, and I still to this day keep a jar of the rendered baking drippings in a
Mm-hmm.
that there was a can back in the day, but I use a jar for that. They are selling that on sites
No way.
like a lot of money. Yeah,
That's crazy.
so
Yeah,
I
we always had bacon grease. Always
always
on
yeah.
our counter. Yeah.
This is 1009 Holly
That's the house
Lane.
she grew up in.
House I
Yes.
grew up in. It looks a little different. Somebody else lives there. But that was just recently, a couple of years ago, that I took that picture. Carol and I had the same. Oh, this is the Timbuktu that I was telling you about, which is what West Hampton was basically built on top of. Um, yeah. So I just kind of wanted to show those. Oh, Sal's Pizzeria. That was another thing.
Oh
A
my
lot of
goodness,
people.
how many days and good times we have there. That was the spot.
And again, in hindsight, through shows like The Sopranos and different things, like you learn through pop culture, whatever. It's like, oh right, New Jersey has a very high population of Italian Americans who have
Right.
so profoundly influenced American food culture, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the work that I do talks about the hidden influences that people don't realize in terms of African Americans, our ancestors who kind of did not get a lot of credit for the original early foundational American foodstuffs. But hands down, without a doubt, after Ellis Island and later the migration patterns, the Italians, Chinese American, now Mexican American, all the different Asian groups, like the food, our food, is what it is because of all this diversity, right? And all
How
that
beautiful is
deliciousness.
that?
And I
Yeah.
just try to tell people like, you're welcome. Like let's be a little more grateful for what everybody has brought to the table. 'Cause
Exactly.
all this, we would not be having all this flavor and the influences in your food that you talk about. Did I hear
Absolutely.
tamales and enchiladas and stuff?
Everything.
Who's
You
in
know.
this picture, Cheryl?
That is my sister's. That is Regina McConnell, who's my sister by another mister, and my baby sister Joy, and my big sister Anita. We're the last
Joy
three
Anita.
of the Cantrell.
Joy and Anita look exactly the same.
Don't
Hey
they?
y'all, if you're watching.
That's my niece.
Who's this youngin?
That's my niece. That's my niece. Who I've fed all these people. That's my niece, Melissa. Yeah.
So you are feeding folks to this day. Oh, that's me hanging out with Carla. And yeah, this is the part where if Sherrill wins, y'all, I ain't have nothing to do with it. Okay. I'm gonna keep it on the up and up. But we are gonna have y'all vote for her. Okay. Oh, is that there's Joy?
There's Joy and her grandson and
Oh
her
my
son.
goodness, he is adorable.
He's big now.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. I
he's a little
cannot
big.
believe this. The K trays, the next generations,
The
and
next
so on
generation.
and so on. So K tray, I'm gonna let you have the few last moments. Look at Nita. I'm gonna let you have the few. Oh, look at me trying to be cute. Oh, look.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Now
wow.
I'm gonna get my Hopkins card revoked again if I can't name everybody. But I know this is my great grandmother Gertrude in the upper left. I believe that's her sister Lizzie on the bottom right. Lizzie, who maybe pre-loving, had an Italian American husband,
Wow.
Uncle Bip, who you know, I'm sure that culture influenced that part of the family. It may have even trickled into my grandmother Loretta, who learned to cook from Gertrude here because she was known for her spaghetti sauce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people thought she was Italian. Like, nope,
Right.
just light skin from Virginia. That's
Right.
all.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. But because she made she herself, I didn't realize it till later, was so influenced by different, you know, different cultures and stuff. So I'm stop the screen share. So in our last few moments, what else do you want to tell folks about Chef Charcantre?
Just that, the greatest joy of my life has been to feed people. I will continue to feed people. If I were to win, part of that money will go into some kind of project or some kind of to support some kind of organization that does feed folks, right? And I do believe it's my calling. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. It's my passion. But also, I think it's a way of connecting on so many different levels. Somebody asked me, Sherrill, every time you cook, it was bringing it into work and you're sharing it. And I told them, I really believe that. It tastes better when I share it. It tastes better when I share
You've always been one of the most generous, loving, sharing people I know. So this makes perfect sense. I'm so grateful that you smoke signaled me about this, and happy that I decided to take it as an opportunity, shamelessly, to be like, I'm going to restart the savory and sweet conversations
it. Yes.
on Sunday. That's what
Right.
I'm going to do.
That's
We're
right.
gonna, we're gonna support Chicane Tray. I made another banner telling folks here. What am I telling folks? Follow the food grill
That's right. Follow the food grill on Instagram. That's right.
because
It's Tonya Hopkins in the house.
all of these algorithms have made it really hard for a sister to organically achieve the volumetrics that I need to be achieving. Uh,
So we will start on a regular tuning in on Sundays.
Start tuning in on Sunday, see what the topic's gonna be. Sometimes it's gonna be live like this. We are actually really live, except for if I'll talk for the future. If you're watching this tomorrow or later in the week, then we're not live-ish,
But
but
not really a lot,
alive, but like in a retro time travel kind of way. Because
Right.
this will serve as a like a podcast after this.
Right.
Let's see here. Oh, Dolores is proud of her auntie.
Oh, I'm proud of her too.
And my mom, whose nickname is Gumby, did not know about the FAVE chef competition and that Sherrill is a contestant. But now you know. Now you know. Let me put that other banner up. So starting
Yes.
tomorrow. So tell people the details about the voting, how that works.
So starting tomorrow at noon will be the voting will open. The voting will be open, you guys. You can vote every day, every 24 hours you can vote. And at the end of the process, which starts tomorrow and ends I believe August the 4th, and it'll be an elimination. It's based on the number of people who vote for you and support you throughout the process. Winner will be featured in the magazine, the food magazine, as well as one 25,000 award prize. So it's a wonderful thing. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this. I really am. No matter what happens, I stuck out of my comfort zone and stepped out on faith. And sometimes that's just what you got to do to shake your life up a little bit.
I'm so glad you did it because this was a fun reason to, I mean, love is love. It never ends. It never dies. You think about people, you pick up right where you left off, like we did. in our private conversations, and now this very public conversation. But it's also really fun to have a real specific, tangible thing to kind of collaborate on.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm coming to cook. I'm coming to.
All right, baby. You know you always welcome.
Wait, what was going to say? You're not in Montgomery. What's it called? It's called. All right, I'm not gonna tell the world where you are, but where you are, I'm coming there. We're gonna cook together.
Yes, absolutely.
Some of these recipes, especially this mac and cheese.
Absolutely on the menu.
We still have more comments, but so people have to go. I understand, but what's it say here? So Davita Veet has a question. So the contestants all did videos. She has a question about that. Did you have to do a video?
I had to actually write an essay as to why I think I should be a part of it.
So you have not had to do it. You have not had to do a video yet.
No, I just have to send pictures in of myself and create a profile and all of that. I think as each step we do, like for instance, depending on how many votes somebody gets tomorrow, the one that gets the most votes tomorrow wins this set of beautiful knives. So so it's going to be, an ongoing thing. I'm sure they're going to be having like little contests throughout this. And, I'm encouraging all my family and friends to send this information out for everybody to vote, because I know I have a huge community behind me. And I have a huge group of people that make up my tribe. And I know if we just get out there and shake the bushes, that I think I can win this thing. I really do.
You're like, I think we can do this.
I think we can do this together. I think we can do this together. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, so Marie saying good luck, and she'll be voting. And then we also got, so I just learned just now, thank you all. I just learned how to share comments. Lynette says, let the voting begin.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. What's that say? Oh, Monica says, you got this. Okay. All right. Lynette also says, yes, y'all, yes. Okay. Okay. Wanda is telling us that she grew up in Mount Holly. I didn't know that, Wanda. Hey, girl. And learned a few things. So I'm glad you had fun. And so that was just fun just now, like sharing the different, different comments and stuff. And so it's all good. So
it's all good.
It's all good. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for
Thank you for having me, Tom. Thank you so much. It's been great.
My first guest on the Savory and Sweet. I think, I don't even have that up. I'm still kind of using that name. I should take a poll in a future one. And, let me ask everybody while you're here, what, maybe we should have a check-in, Cheryl, to see how it's going. Are you going to get
states? Because I could get eliminated by tomorrow, and this will all be enough. But
I mean, I guess people are going to find out if they keep trying to vote, and they keep trying to vote, and you're going to be like, where's Cheryl go? Where's Cheryl?
Yeah, exactly. I do want to just drop down the voting stuff in the comments so people can go into the.
Can you do that? Can you copy and paste that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Okay.
You're gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do it.
I'll see if I can do. I'm not good at this. So wait a minute.
You are much better. You're not giving yourself credit. You are much better than. And it's not like I was giving you a whole lot of direction either. I was doing the best I could do. Okay.
Let me see.
I want to share the link that you shared with me. I think if I go into your text and copy the link, I can paste it there. Nope, that ain't it. See y'all. See what technology be doing. I'm grateful for it. Grateful. However. Oh, see, now I done lost y'all floating around. Okay, so comments. I'm going to post a comment. I'm copying and pasting the link. Tell me if you guys can see that in the thing. Oh, it looks like I was able to post it twice. I posted it to Facebook and to YouTube. Can I get a yay, nay from the 11 people still tuned in, whether or not? Okay, good. Thank you, Trina. Thank you. Are you able to copy it? Copy and paste. Got it. Folks got it.
Great.
Woo-hoo. Wanda got it. Lynette got it. Trina got it.
Pass it on.
So we'll let that stay. Actually, you know what? It'll stay up in the comments here. Um, it'll stay up on the Facebook live thing once this is no longer live. It'll stay up there. We got some comments here. Best wishes. Um, you want to
Oh,
read?
sweet.
Yeah, you
Hey,
would from the
Jeannie girl.
for folks who are listening. What is she saying? Read what she's saying. I'm like,
Yeah,
I got
best
to read
wishes
all
of
your
your
business.
class. I'm glad I can say that I've had your cooking and that of your sisters and beloved mother. I enjoy reminiscing over the good times growing up. Wonderful. Like I said, it's wonderful from your beginning of this journey to the end, how many people come with you along the way. That's a blessing.
It is such a blessing, and I love that. Right, I love that we're re having a reunion of sorts. Right, inviting in people from all different other aspects of our lives to join us for this conversation, for this stroll down memory lane, aka Holly Lane, full of food, fun, memories. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank
Cheryl.
you.
Sure.
Thank you, baby
Come
doll.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
See you
And I'll
soon.
see all y'all soon. Check back. Same time next Sunday. See what's simmering up on
Okay.
Savory is from Savory to Sweet. That's the new name.
From savory to sweet. Okay.
All right,
Like
y'all.
it.
Ciao for now.
Ciao.